Hey, Kevin here, and I thought I'd give you an update video on what's been going on with the van project. We've done a few things in here. We're still playing around with the layout, and we've been kind of going out and doing some trips, but that kind of got interrupted with the latest current events, although we did spend a week away just recently, and we're still kind of getting a feel for the van and how we want layout. And so I'm not in a big hurry to build it out right now. I've watched more videos than I can count on how to do this, and I still keep watching because there's a lot of creative, innovative people doing things with their vans. We're taking some of the ideas and we're still kind of mulling over layouts and where we want our components, and the other is that we're just not quite sure. I know one thing I don't want this little bitty aisle going up and down the center of the van as a walkway with all this stuff on both sides. It's going to feel too crowded for me, so we're still kind of playing around with a little bit of a minimalistic process here of not putting anything more in here than we have to, and yet having everything in here that we would like to have in here. So that's kind of where it stands right now. So let's talk about a few of the components that we're pretty sure we're going to keep in here, and we just haven't figured out layout. So first thing is we're still in a kind of a process of dealing with power. And so power is evolving right now. We started out with no power, and then we had basically what amounted to shore power in the beginning, because we just had an extension cord that we could plug in wherever we were at, and a strip plug, a heavy-duty contractor strip plug. Be careful not to get those little wimpy deals, because they will overheat if you have too much stuff running on them. And so that was our beginning, but what we now have is a Goal Zero Yeti 1000, and it's a lithium battery pack, and it's 100 amps, and it's really turned out to be a very useful piece of equipment. I didn't want to do a ton of wiring in here either until I figured out our layout, and I want the wiring to have some accessibility to it, so that if we do have to get in and repair, we'll be able to without tearing the van apart, because again, this is a moving vehicle with a lot of vibration and rattling and things that rub over a period of time, and you never know if something's going to fail. But this is nice. Right now I currently have it plugged into the van through a 12-volt outlet, and so when the van's running, it charges this unit, and primarily what we're using this for is a light and this refrigerator. We have the ability to plug in a variety of different objects, and so we have a light plugged in here. We got some 110 outlets over here. Right now what I've done is use the 12-volt outlet, which is connected to this, and this is an ARB refrigerator freezer, and it's a 50, I think it's a 50 quart. At any rate, you can either use this as a freezer or a fridge. Can't do both at the same time, although the cold is measured at the bottom, and I've noticed that you could pretty much freeze things at the bottom. So if you want to put your stuff that can take the most cold at the bottom, that's a handy thing to do. So this is a chest type freezer, fridge, whichever, and it's got a fair amount of space in it. I mean, it's got a nice little upper shelf right here for things that are maybe a little more delicate, and then down here in the main basket, which can also be divided with this little divider, you can put things in here, and it's done a really great job of keeping things at a good temperature that we've noticed so far. We've used it for a few weeks total, and it takes very little power. When I'm got the van off, it's not charging the Yeti, and I'm noticing in a 24-hour period I might lose 4 or 5% of my battery to running this. So that's pretty doggone good. I think you could probably run this unit off of that for upwards of a week without a charge, depending on how often you get in and out of it. But the nice thing about these types is cold stays in it when you open the lid. It's not like a front loader where you're going to dump all your cold out and have to charge it back up. So that's nice. We'll put some links in if you guys are interested in the components that we're showing you. We'll put some links in the comments under the video. So the other thing we have is some water. This is a 6 7-gallon. This is a 7-gallon jug, and this is a 6-gallon jug. That's a fair amount of water. Plus we carry some drinking water. This is drinkable as well. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're probably going to eventually put in a counter with some sort of a powered water system. Let's just put it at that. We haven't decided how that's going to work yet. So the next thing is, this is a really neat thing. So here's the deal.
Annissa's most important feature.
Yes, we weren't going anywhere without one of these. So what this is my version of a separating composting toilet, because I didn't want to spend $1,000 on one. And there are several units out there, and there's plenty of reviews on them if you want to look at them. So the way this set up is that you buy this particular piece right here, which is this seat and lid, and then this portion right here comes with it, and this is the separator part. So you got your number 1 and your number 2, and that's all you really need to turn, you know, to save yourself about $800. And so the other thing we did was, I'll open this. You can see that we just have a bucket in here and a jug, and so this jug fits right on here, and it's a 1-gallon jug, and so that, you know, I would drop it down in, but anyway, everything goes in there. When you get done, you just pull this loose from down in here, take it out and dump it, and that's pretty similar to what the other ones are that cost a lot of money. And so if you want to save a lot of money like I did, I just had a hard time justifying $1,000 deal. So we'll put all the links for those pieces in the description, so you can find those if you want to. Okay, the next goodie is the shower. And again, Annissa and I have reached, I think, an agreement on this. And so what I didn't want is this big shower, bathroom, whatever, taking up all this space when, in my mind, you hardly spend any time in there, so why would I dedicate all that space? What this is going to wind up doing is being underneath the benches, and so it'll be out of sight, but we can pop up and use it. And so this shower pan is really nice. It's called a 24 by 24, but you can see there's an angle on the front here to it, so it kind of gives us a little bit more low profile. And then there's a pre-designed punch out here for the drain, which I've got. I don't have it sitting right here, but I got a drain plug that's a low profile drain plug, so it doesn't stick out real far this way. So this will have to be elevated up enough to give that clearance. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll run a drain tube off of here somewhere. It might just be where we just hang it out the door. I don't know yet, because I don't like poking holes in my brand new Sprinter van. But this will be inside the bench seating, so this will be out of sight, and there'll be a shower curtain that'll come up and a ring up here. And just, you know, if you balloon it out a little bit, it gives you plenty of room down here. You don't need a lot of room for your feet, but you do kind of have some elbow room, especially my size guys. So that's our solve, and the curtain will just hang down inside there, so nothing should get out. So that's where we're going with that. Okay. Currently we have a hot water maker right here. It's propane fired, and pretty slick little unit. It's a Coleman. That's your faucet for your sink, if you will. And then this hooks up to either a garden hose attachment or a bladder bag, about 5-gallon, and propane bottle that goes on there, and there's a little battery, and it works really well. You can adjust your temperature right here, and then you can hook on another hose attachment with a shower handle, and so we can just fire that up and use it inside the shower when we want to use that. Also, being portable, we can take it outside and use it outside if we want to, so it kind of gives us the option. It's not fixed, so that works out really well for us. Got a little doggy kennel here. We got our buddy that comes with us most places we go, so we got that underneath there. Of course, our bed, which I've shown you before, working out real well. Again, I'm like 6'4", and we sleep sideways across here, and I get away with that primarily because I'm a side sleeper, so I don't need to, but I can manage to, with my head on the pillow, get my feet all the way out, so if I do want to stretch out flat, I can do that. So Annissa has no problem. She doesn't even touch the end of the bed. Got a Goal Zero LED light right here that's hooked up to our Goal Zero Yeti down there. and this is very bright in here in the dark. When you shut the door, all these lights go off, and this gives us more than enough light for reading and getting around in here at night, so that works out really nice, and it's very, very low draw, so it's got a nice long cord. I can string, I think I can attach more. Yeah, there's an attachment here if I want to hang another one over there, which I have. We can have lights on both sides and be able to turn them on and off and all that fun stuff.
Well, you should do that for me.
Oh, well, maybe I will. Camping gear, got a bunch of chairs right there. And some tools. And then we got this, and again, this is kind of our temporary thing. Annissa wanted some storage and organization capabilities, so this is just a plastic 4-drawer little drawer, dresser, cabinet, whatever you want to call it, and works out real good. We've got lots of room in here for clothes. We usually each have a drawer for clothes, some gear up here, and I don't even know what's down there. Nothing. So we got plenty of room.
That's usually where I put like the toiletries and stuff.
Yeah, so we got ample storage space there. Okay, so this box is kind of a hodgepodge of things. We got our walking sticks. If I run into a bear, I got a stick right here to work on keeping the bear away, cougar, whatever. We're going into Canada, we can't take guns up there, so we got to have some way to fend off our monsters. These are really nice. And I got this is a saltwater fishing pole, by the way. These go up on the front door windows, and they're built for the Sprinter. In fact, we had to wait because this is a 2019 model. When they came out, it was a model change, and so all the previous years were the same for quite a while, so we had to wait till they created these for this year model. But it's got nice louvers on the outside, so this is the outside part. It sits on the top of the glass right here, and then rolls right up into the frame of the window, so there's no breaking in and getting into it. I mean, this is harder than the glass. And then there's screening on the back side, so the bugs can't get through. And so when we stick one of those on each of the doors, we get plenty of ventilation coming in and out, which is really nice without dealing with any extra unwanted guests. So those have been really nice to have. So it's a little bit of a hike up into the back end here, so we got a folding RV stool that we use. Mostly Annissa uses. Give her a little hop up in there. We got the door shut. We're in the bear den, the cave. Wanted to show you a couple things. So if you can see this black strip right here, this is a Velcro strip that goes all the way around this door, and it's for a screen. And so again, they make screens for these vans and other model vans that are pretty doggone expensive, and I was like, you know what were they, 200 bucks or something? I'm like, I'm not paying 200 bucks for a big piece of mesh. So we went online and we found, and we'll put a link in the deal because this saved it. What was this, 50 bucks, 40 bucks?
Yeah, we found it on Amazon.
It was a screen door for French doors for like a house. But when we measured everything, it fit right over this opening really nicely, and then it's got a magnetic close in the middle here, so you can pull them apart, walk out in or out, and they snap shut back in again to keep the bugs out of here. So that was really nice and saved us a ton of money. And we'll put a link in there if you want to use that, if you're going to put one in your van or whatever. And then over here we got a couple of curtains. Again, I'm sure they make those, but we made our own. This is just a couple of blackout curtains for a house that we picked up. Super cheap. What were these? What do we know this? About 40, 50 bucks too?
Yeah.
Had a gal that sews for us, hem these up because they were a little long, and put some Velcro closures so that we could snap these shut. This works great. We've slept right on the street in front of our kids' houses, and blocks out all the light. And
open the door, honey. It's too dark. I want to see the curtains because they look really nice there. That's good. Okay. Yeah, they look really nice.
So the Velcro over here, and the Velcro over there, and in the middle. And then we just got a bungee cord holding them up right now because I haven't figured out whether I'm going to put something up here to attach it, but they work out really great just the way they are. And so that's been nice. Again, when you're out front looking through the windows, you can't see anything because it's blacked out, so they can't see the gear in here, which I think is a plus. Okay. So let's hop out and we'll look at the last little bit here. So you might have noticed, if you've watched any of our previous videos on this process, there's a plywood deck in here. And eventually, when we get everything else done, we'll be putting some flooring down, but we haven't done that yet since we don't have any of our cabinetry in. So we got this 6x8 piece of indoor-outdoor carpeting. They sell these, are like 20 bucks. And it fit real nice in here. Just happened to work out real well and covered all that plywood up, so it just kind of made it a little more cozy and homey. And again, you can vacuum it or yank it out of there and dust it off or whatever. And then just coming and going in and out of the van, we bought this little rug. I think I paid 15 bucks for this rug. And that's, we take our shoes off, step it onto this, and then walk in. That way we're keeping the moisture out of here and, dirt and whatever. So that's
and you also put this in, and you kept this up because we
I've
sure
got a little,
want to keep that as storage, right?
Got a little cubby here, so we can stuff a few things. Shoes work in there real nice, and other things that might just stay put and not roll out on us when the door is opening and closing. So that's about it in here right now, I think. So let's go look at the garage. Let's get a little bit of a look in the garage here. Back side of the bed, if you will. So, want to go right up here, right off the bat. This was something that I was making it a little easier for Annissa. She sleeps on the inside of the bed here, so wasn't any place for her to put all of her knick-knack paddywhacks and whatevers. So I bought this little thing. I think it was a dollar store deal. Just a little basket that sits on here, and then I built this little shelf right here, which you can make. Pull it out. I just built it out of some scraps of 1x2 and a little piece of pine I had, and I gave her a ledge here so that things wouldn't roll off, and then this is just sitting underneath the mattress so that it's pinning it down, so it's not really permanently mounted, but it works out real good because I can just slide it under here, and it fits inside this space right here. We can set that on there, so she's got room to put her phone and her watch and her earrings and whatever she wants to put up there, and gives her a little kind of an interior, what do you call a nightstand, I guess, of a sort, to contain everything and not lose it down into the van somewhere. So we got a propane tank and a cord, or a hose, and it'll hook up to my heater. We have a heater in here if we want to hook that up, or I can hook it up to my propane stove. I have a little bit of room that way. It's not permanently mounted because we use it outside and inside. We got a spare water tank up in here. Propane Coleman stove we've had since before most of our kids were born, and it's still kicking away. A little two burner.
Right now.
Still have shore power hooked up if we want to, if we're somewhere where there is power, we can plug in and keep everything charged up and running and whatever. And oftentimes what we'll do is we have a little $20 electric space heater that we use, and that keeps the van warm overnight when we're out somewhere. We've done some shoulder season camping, if you will, and so it's a little cooler. Right now, because we don't have cabinetry or a lot of storage built in yet, we've got these containers, and they've got some more of our kind of camping gear, our kitchen stuff, our food stuff. What else is in there? A little bit of food. So we got some canned food, we've got some dry foods, some foods that'll store for extended periods of time. Some of it's kind of a ready to eat, some of it's a heat and eat kind of thing. This is our shades for the windows, the front windows, and the windshield shade. So we keep a lot of this just sort of ready to go, but this is nice because it blocks out a lot of heat in the summertime, let me tell you, and it also gives us some privacy. And these are custom made. This is one of those products that fit exactly the windows and doors very nicely. They got suction cups on them, easy to deploy, easy to roll up and take out of the way when you're not using them, and we just toss them right back in here, and they're ready to use anytime we need them. So got some powdered eggs, got some chickpea masala right there. Those are kind of a heat and eat, ready to eat sort of thing. Got some canned foods in here. I think there's some dehydrated hash browns back there somewhere, and just a variety of things, nuts, you know, things that we like to have out there.
So what are some ideas that we want to do in this, like the whole pull-out roller thing, remember we talked about?
Yeah, so one of the things I did was I've kind of kept my ability to use this to transport materials if I really want to still. So what I did was I cut what we had in here to begin with was 2x3 framing holding the bed up, and it was wobbly, and I knew it wasn't going to be the permanent solution, but it was I'm excited, let's go camping, and so I snapped something together, and it held up for a while, but ultimately it wasn't going to hold up long term. So after kind of, you know, kicking the ideas around, we kept the top portion of the bed. So this is a separate piece that just sets down into the frame, which is plywood, and it's slatted. It's 1x3s, so there's a lot of ventilation there, because the one thing you got to worry about is potentially condensation and mold and all that fun stuff. So we got lots of air in here for the mattress to circulate, so it doesn't catch up. So anyway, this is just sitting in here. We can just pop that right out, and if you tip it this way, once you pull the mattress off, you can just carry it out. And so also what I did was I built this at 50 inches wide, and what that allows me to do is if I remove these items, I can still put building materials in here, including a sheet of plywood, because it's 48 inches and this is 50. So I gave myself enough room to bring more material home again to help finish building this out. And if I want to use it for other purposes, I'm always building something. And so with 14 feet of space from the back doors to the back of the seats, that's a lot of useful space, and I can carry a lot of cargo in here. I mean, I could pull a trailer on the hitch if I wanted to, and I can pull a substantial amount of weight behind me as well. But the quick fix is just being able to slide some building materials in here, and I'm off and running. So the other thing we're thinking about doing is, I like a lot of what these people are doing with these heavy-duty roller glides, and so you can get these real heavy pieces of hardware that'll carry like 500 pounds and up, and set this up with maybe 1 or 2 slide outs, so that we can pull the gear out rather than have to try to get back in there to get to it, which is kind of a pain. And so we may do 1 or 2 of those and be able to just move that out. It gives a chance to, you know, we could do some cooking right here if we wanted to, and just be able to get gear in and out without digging and dragging everything out to get to something that's in the back. So we're probably going to go that route at some point. Again, that won't interfere with being able to still use this as a, you know, cargo carrier if I want to, because those won't really interfere with it. And then I still have the use of those trays when I want to use them when we're out running around. We're not obviously currently living in our van. We just are doing it part-time, but that may change really soon. I'm just dropping a little hint here. Things may be changing a lot, and if that's the case, we may be living in the van for a while as we go into some other projects that we're working on, but I'm not telling you anymore. At any rate, so this all pops out. So this you pop off, pull the mattress, this will slide right out. I made it so it's not too wide, and it'll slide right out of the back doors here, and then you can use that space or get in there to, you know, get to things. And so we got a little bit of dead space on either side, which we also use. We've got some other components in there. I think there's a air compressor and a battery charger and some other gear that's just kind of slid in there. Of course, we got our power, which is coiled up and sitting right here all the time, because it works out really good with the you know, door seals. We can lay the cord right across here and shut the door on. It doesn't hurt it, and that gives us our power without having punched a hole through the side of the vehicle yet. I'm having a hard time poking holes in this, I'm telling you. It's
But we're about to poke 2 holes in the roof.
Yes, we want to go with probably 2 max air fans. It seems like that works out real well for people. There's kind of a spot right up there that's basically built for that, so we'll cut that out and put a max air there, and then we'll probably put one back here so that we can have a lot of ventilation. You can turn one to blow in and the other to blow out, and you can set them up on temperature timing and all kinds of stuff, so, and remote controls and all kinds of fun stuff. and so that'll allow us to circulate a lot of air through the van if we want to, and give us a little white noise to sleep by, and you know, a little bit of this and that. So that's kind of anything else you can think of. I think that's.
We are going to take that into an RV shop and have a professional install those, because we haven't done it before and we just don't really want to mess around with it anyway.
Yep. And we bought this new, not used, so we got a little bit more investment in it than some people do.
So one of the other things, Kevin, I think you should mention is the fact that the reason that we're not doing the electrical like a lot of people do is we don't want to tap into the current system because it is brand new, and we don't want to void our warranty.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And so I actually want to, you also have to worry about insurance coverage on stuff like this. If you permanently start converting these, some insurance companies will void your insurance, and so you have to be careful with that. And again, we have a nice extended warranty on this vehicle right now, so if I start modifying it, then I void that, and I don't want to do that. It's been a great runner. We get good gas miles, got plenty of power. You know, been driving it, you know, 500-600 miles back and forth across the state, and you know, I think we're pretty happy with it overall, and it's been comfortable to sleep in here at night. I've got just enough room that I can stretch out and put my head on one side and feet at the other this way. Annissa doesn't have any trouble with that. I think she could do it twice. And you know, we got a little bit of light up there, so that's plenty enough. We can lay in here at night and read and see what's going on, and it's handy because we can just pop it on. But when you shut it off, it's dark. It's dark enough, and when you walk around in the van in the dark and it's kind of shaking, it throws your equilibrium off, and you're going to wind up taking a nosedive. So you want to make sure you flip the light on before you go anywhere, because it definitely is black in there at night, and which is good because that's what we want for, you know, sleeping. And so we're pretty tickled with it so far. We're looking forward to getting out and doing some more traveling and exploring, and as we go through the process and we live in and out of the van, we're going to probably make some more decisions on how we want to do layouts and you know, storage and things like that. So we're pretty tickled. We got some fold out tables in here, so we got plenty of, you know, gear in here. It's just not permanently affixed yet because we haven't decided how that layout is going to wind up. So just want to give you an update, tell you we're not you know, we haven't disappeared, fallen down a hole or anything, but we were going to go to Alaska this year. That may or may not happen at this point since the borders are closed because of the Rona. And we were also going to go to Vancouver Island in Canada, which again, can't get across the border right now, so we're hoping that maybe we can still do that this year, but I don't know about making it all the way up to Alaska.
Maybe we'll take off and go to Zion in Utah or something.
Yeah, there's plenty of places to go, and things are starting to open up as of you know, the shooting of this video. So you know, we're getting back to the point where we can go do some traveling again, and you know, there's plenty of sights to see in the U.S. Leaving it, but we were looking forward to a couple of trips that may or may not get postponed at this point. So is what it is. See you on the next video.